Hi, everyone. I'm Ed O'Keefe, CBS News in Washington. Thank you for joining us. Donald Trump is running for president once again. He made the announcement tonight at his estate in Florida, telling supporters that he will run again and filing paperwork with the Federal Election Commission to make it official. CBS News chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett was at the announcement and joins us now with more. Major?
So, Ed, I will tell you this. I've watched many Trump campaign speeches. This was much more on the subdued side of the ledger. The speech ran about twice as long as advertised by Trump officials. Before the speech, they predicted 30 to 35 minutes. It ran a full hour. And I will tell you, this crowd at Mar-a-Lago, chock full of Trump loyalists through and through, was restless. There were long periods of time where there were no applause, no shouts back to Trump. He would sort of wander off script, and the speech sort of left this room cold and not indifferent, but sort of expectant, waiting for some energy from the former president. There were moments when it materialized, but overall this was a very low-key, one might remember a phrase from 2016, low-energy speech from the former president. It was, as his advisors advertised, much more about the future. It did not recount the last 2 years of grievances about the 2020 election, begging everyone in this audience and the country writ large to try to forget the last 2 years, when virtually that's all former President Trump did, was complain about the 2020 election, allege that it was stolen, and inspire a riot on the Capitol in which police and others were injured in the process. If the Trump campaign wants America to forget about that, this speech is certainly a step in that direction, but the history will not yield on that subject. A couple of other observations. The president said that his campaign is a movement, and it will be much like 2016, where he will be against the media, against political factions, against social media, and this movement will topple that. Well, reprising the spirit of 2016 is certainly a goal of this Trump campaign 3.0. But everyone in this country knows it's not 2016 anymore. Former President Trump cannot credibly be described as an outsider, and he has already said in his campaign speech tonight that he will focus much of his energy on challenging the quote-unquote deep state and corrupt law enforcement at the federal level. Speaking of lawlessness there, again, that reminds Americans of what can only be described as lawlessness on January 6th and in the intervening days before that, in which this former president, the record credibly shows, tried to overturn a presidential election. Ed?
Major Garrett there at Mar-a-Lago, where former President Donald Trump tonight becoming the 5th former U.S. president to try to win back the White House. We'll see how he does, but we're appreciative of Major and his team for being there for us. We're going to take a quick break. John Dickerson will have more ahead. You're streaming CBS News.